Good afternoon YouTube and welcome back to my channel. For today's video I am going to be talking you through my brand new custom downhill bike from Haibike. This thing is an absolute beast and I cannot wait to share it with you guys. This bike is designed for downhill use only because it has lots of suspension, it has a very limited selection of gears on the rear, and the geometry is designed for high speed, hitting really big jumps and just riding super gnarly features. Let's get started by talking about the frame, which is a Haibike downhill frame painted in gloss black. We got to choose the colour of our stickers, and when the bike arrived the stickers were loose in the box, meaning we could position them wherever to add that customization to our bikes. At the back of the bike we have a 15 by 150mm axle, and the rear triangle is nice and wide so that you can fit a super wide tyre in there, giving you optimum grip. The frame size is a medium and it has a 64-degree head tube angle. The reason that I've chosen the medium frame is because I most likely won't be racing on it. I'll be riding more freestyle and jumps and trying some tricks on it. So the medium is just a bit smaller and nicer for that, with the 413mm top tube and the 445mm chainstay. My other favourite features have to be the rear linkage. Just looks super clean, heavy duty and a nice bit of engineering. Also the internal cable routing, super tidy, giving the bike that really nice clean look. Moving on from the frame, and we're now going to be taking a look at the front suspension fork, one of my favourite parts on the whole bike, and the reason for that is because they are the brand new 2020 Fox 40 downhill fork in the factory orange, triple clamps, 203mm of travel with a 20mm by 110 front axle. On the left fork leg you have the float air adjustment, on the right you have the new Fit Grip 2 four-way adjustment, allowing you to more precisely adjust your high-speed compression, low-speed compression, as well as your high-speed rebound and your low-speed rebound. I will personally be running them quite stiff because, like I said earlier, I plan to do more jumps and free ride / freestyle on this, as opposed to actually gnarly tech downhill racing. Moving from the front suspension to the rear, and I'm using the Fox DHX2 factory series shock. It offers 8 inches of travel and it has the X2 two-way adjustment lever, allowing you to once again precisely adjust your compression and your rebound. This shock also has an advanced RVS system which increases tunability, as well as an increased oil flow which improves damping control and the consistency. As for the coil, I'm using the orange SLS spring, which is the super lightweight steel. It's actually lighter than a titanium one. For the medium frame they recommend 400-pound spring, however I have a 450-pound spring because I intend to use the bike for more free ride, freestyle and jumping. Moving on to the wheels, and on this bike I am running 27.5-inch halo wheels. Up front we have the MT hub, and at the rear we have the MT Superdrive hub. 120 points of engagement to withstand super high torque levels, ensuring that it doesn't skip. Super wide spoke flanges for a real strong, solid wheel build. And the Superdrive hub sounds insane. Take a listen. To complement the halo wheels, I'm running Schwalbe Magic Mary tyres on the front and rear of the bike. Evolution, super gravity, snakeskin. Basically that means the sidewalls are super tough and the tyre is really durable for gnarly downhill and heavy hits. They're in the ultra soft compound. On the rear I am running a 2.4 width. Up front slightly wider with a 2.6, just to give me that bit extra grip that I may need. They're also being run tubeless, using Halo tubeless valves and Halo tubeless sealant. We're now onto the business end of the bike, the cockpit area, and let's start with the stem. I'm running the Gusset S2 direct mount stem. I've never used a direct mount stem ever. And just by looking at this, I'm super impressed with it already. Really tidy. It just looks so different. This one has two options. You can run it at 45mm or 50mm. I'm running it at 50 at the moment, but it's nice to know that I have the option. If I want the bike to feel a bit shorter, then I can bring it in by 5mm. For extra strength, it's a 35mm clamp, and it is clamping the 35mm Gusset S2 bars, 800mm wide for lots of control at high speed when shredding downhill tracks, and a 20mm rise. I actually run this handlebar on all of my bikes because, well, firstly, it looks sick. Secondly, they're super strong and they just feel amazing. They offer a lot of control. I really like them. Gusset S2 grips, lock-on version, of course, for the downhill bike when you're riding in super wet, boggy conditions. These won't twist. The last thing that any of us want is throttle grip. And to finish this zone off, we have the Gusset S2 magnetic top cap. Just completes the cockpit area really well. It's just such a nice, like, what a view to look down on. That looks really, really sick. I'm so stoked with it. As for the brakes, Shimano Saint front and rear, 6-bolt 203mm rotors, front and back. Super powerful, all the stopping power I'm gonna need. Loads of control, hopefully so that I can stay in control. The crank and bottom bracket setup that I'm choosing to run on this bike is the SRAM X01 downhill carbon fibre crank arms, 170mm in length with a push fit ceramic bearing bottom bracket. One thing I really like in particular about these crank arms is the fact that it has like a rougher patch there to prevent any general wear and tear where your foot rubs on it, because that can look really untidy. I'm running a chain guide which has a top chain guide to prevent the chain jumping off, and at the bottom it has a bash ring to prevent you smashing the sprocket into any rocks or dodgy things that you might come across on the downhill trail. That then brings us nicely onto the gearing, and I'm running a SRAM Eagle 36 tooth up front. On the back we have the 7-speed X01 DH micro cassette, which I think looks super tidy. It has a 10 to 24 gearing range, and I just love that. That's one of my favourite parts of the bike. I don't know why, it just looks really cool. To go along with all that, we're running an 11-speed KMC chain in black because it fits in perfectly with the stealth theme that seems to be going on throughout the rest of the bike. If we move down even further, we come to the derailleur, which is a SRAM X01 7-speed short cage. It's running a Type 3 roller bearing clutch and a cage lock, which basically prevents any slapping and stupid sounds. Also, being nice and short, it means it's out the way. It can't get damaged or caught on anything whilst you're shredding gnarly terrain. And one of my favourite things about it, the hints of red just complement the colour scheme really well, just adding that extra special touch to what I think is a really special bike. As we come to the final components on the bike, let's take a look at the pedals, and I'm running the Gusset S2 metal pedals. I'm not running clips on this bike because I want to be doing some tricks like no-footed cans and Supermans, so clips don't really make sense. And a bit like the handlebars, I'm running these pedals on all of my bikes for a few reasons. Firstly, because they're nice and flat, they feel really nice on your feet. The only contact between you and the bike is actually the pedals and the grips, so I always feel it's really important to make sure those components actually fit you really well. And they offer so much grip. They have really big pins, which mean that you don't slip your feet that much. And when you are doing tricks like no-footers, especially on the jump bike tail whips, it just means that there's so much grip and they're really nice to catch. Moving up from the pedals, and we come to the seat post and seat clamp, all made by Gusset and all part of the S2 range. However, the standout feature for me in this area of the bike is the carbon seat rail. Just really fancy. This is a super special bike for me, and that just adds that special touch. And there we have it. That is my custom downhill bike from Haibike, and I'm so excited to finally share it with you guys. I've been collecting the parts for a while now, and to have it finally together is just really exciting. I actually can't believe that I own a bike like this. I'm super lucky. So a massive shout out to Haibike for an absolute weapon of a bike. Also a massive shout out to Kara's dad, because he built it for me and he's done an absolutely fantastic job. So I just can't wait to get the arm fully healed now, and then I can get back out on the trails and bike parks and just enjoy this beast, because I've never had a downhill bike and I'm super excited to see what it's all about and create some awesome videos for you guys. So give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed this one, leave some comments below, let me know what you think about the bike, and I will see you guys in the next video.